YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back with an updated 2019 NFL mock draft. Kind of a surprise mock draft here. Wasn't really planning it, kind of just did it. But anyways, later tonight, Friday night live stream, a little earlier than normal. We're going to talk big matchups in the NFL for week 17, who's into the playoffs, who's out of the playoffs. Seeding predictions from all of the members of Frogs Angels, Super Bowl favorites, all kinds of fun stuff. We usually do brackets too. We're going to do a non-sports related bracket. Pretty funny usually. So check all that out. Join us for the live stream. Turn notifications on. But yeah, this mock draft. Right before I reveal the first 8, I want to let you know there's going to be some surprises. Probably to some of you. Please listen to me explain why. Because I don't just do it for just to surprise everyone. There's a reason I put players in certain spots. But this was one of my favorite mock drafts that I did, and it's kind of weird because we don't even know the order yet. It's impossible to predict what's actually going to happen. The reason it was one of my favorite ones is when I was making it, didn't really have to think too much about the players going to the teams. I felt they were very good matches, very good fits. So that's why I really enjoyed doing this one. So let's reveal the top 8. We're going to have a surprise probably right off the bat with Quinnen Williams going to the Cardinals over Nick Bosa. I think the Bosa injury will come back into discussion. He could have came back by now. I think he's just preparing for the NFL draft. Okay decision. But I think all that we brought back up, maybe there'll be some tests done. There's going to maybe be the media just blowing smoke about it. But I think it'll all be brought back up. I think there'll actually be a tight battle for the number 1 spot. But I think Quinnen Williams really fits the Cardinals, and I think they need that type of player more. And I think even if Bosa is 100% healthy, they will like Williams more. That's my way too early prediction. I do like the fit. And, everyone's going to be looking for their next Aaron Donald. The next Aaron Donald. And Williams potentially could be almost as good. I can't stress that enough. Potentially. But he's very good. He can play inside, play outside. Gives pressure from any of the positions. Very fun to watch. Very impressive. I think he goes 1. As we sit right now. Long way to go, though. We don't even know the 100% exact order yet. We got to finish this season. But anyways, the Niners get Nick Bosa at 2. Too good to pass there. They can, another D lineman, but they can use the pass rush. Can't pass on a good player like this. Bosa's a freak. Yeah, the injury may scare some, but he'll be okay. 3, Josh Allen to the Jets, the edge rusher from Kentucky. I think I've had him mocked to the Jets for a while now. I think if I made a big board, I haven't made a big board yet, but if I made a big board, I think Cleveland Farrell would probably be higher than Josh Allen. But as we sit, the Jets 3-4 defense, Josh Allen will fit that a little better. I think teams will like his freak athleticism off the outside, his ability to drop back in coverage too. So I think he fits the Jets. I think it's what they need. Maybe it's a trade down spot, just a few picks if it's possible. Gather some more picks. So I like Josh Allen go to the Jets still. Raiders, I have them taking Cleveland Farrell, defensive end from Clemson. I like Farrell a lot. Got the chance to watch some more tape on him over the last week or so, and very, very fun to watch. He could get better on his technique and maybe some moves, but he has the strength, and really he's smart enough to know where the quarterback's going to be, know where to push him. So he's very impressive. The strength. I'm wondering if he can actually play 3-4 DN because of his strength. I would love him on at a 4-3 DN. That makes more sense, and that would be, obviously better for a 4-3 team to draft him. But because of his strength, I think he possibly could play 3-4. So a little upside there, but I would like him at a 4-3 DN, like I said. Raiders need the pass rush, and you know what? He actually fits a little more than Khalil Mack did, and that sounds crazy because Khalil Mack can play in a 4-3 or 3-4, but he's more in the right system where he is now with the Bears and the 3-4 outside linebackers. So, Khalil Mack's, they probably shouldn't have traded. I still don't think they should have traded him, but the good thing for the Raiders here is that a guy like Farrell actually fits their pass rush position a little better. Not that he's better or anywhere near that, but I think you understand my point. Lions go Greedy Williams, corner, LSU. They can go a number of things here. They may trade Matthew Stafford. They may trade him. That's what I heard. I don't think it happens. I'm not a huge Stafford fan, but what else are you going to get here? I guess you can, right here, have the opportunity to take the number 1 overall quarterback here, but I don't think it happens. They could go line. They could go for pass rush. They would love to have Cleveland Farrell. Patricia would love to have a player like that. But Slay's really their only corner, and he's gone down a couple times this year. So Greedy Williams or a corner like that makes a lot of sense. We'll talk about the other couple I have going in this mock that I do like a lot too, but I think they'll like Greedy Williams. He makes sense opposite of Slay. The Bucs go Jonah Williams, lineman, Alabama. They could use pass rush, D-line, pretty much anywhere. They can use defensive back, secondary, anywhere, safety, corner. So they could go any of those spots. I think they could use another offensive lineman too. I think they're going to roll with Winston. I think they're going to pick up his option, so make sure he's protected here. If he is able to roll outside the pocket and without any pressure out there, then Winston's very good. So they'll try to make sure that happens with Jonah Williams here. Number 7, maybe a little surprise to some of you. Bills take Cody Ford, offense lineman, Oklahoma, and this is probably my biggest riser, maybe my favorite player in the draft. And I don't think a lineman's ever been my favorite player in the draft. I can't wait to see him versus Alabama. First, we need to see that. That's a huge game. They haven't really played anybody like that yet. But best offensive line in football is Oklahoma this year. Cody Ford, right tackle. Yes, right tackle, which the Bills need desperately. This guy's an animal. This guy's an absolute. He's very athletic too. Footwork is phenomenal. Stands out, and not too many linemen really stand out. You're mainly looking at the position players. But right tackle, you may ask why right tackle. Besides the fact that the Bills need one really bad, because you may say, isn't left tackle more important? It always has been, but I'm starting to think right tackle is more important now because you look at these pass rushers, like we talked about Khalil Mack, and there's plenty other ones. Danielle Hunter is making a name for himself. He's coming at the right tackle, like Khalil Mack, like plenty other guys. Some of the pass rushers switch sides here and there, but most of the sacks have been generated from the right side of the offense, left side of the defense. So that'd be the right tackle. So is that the lack of right tackles in football, or is that mean those pass rushers coming from that side are that good? And Cody Ford has the athleticism. That's pretty much what it's about these days, is athleticism. I think the combine numbers are going to matter more now than ever. And usually athletic linemen, kind of get pushed around a little bit. Not Cody Ford. I love him as a prospect here. I think the Bills would love to have him here. That could be, I like receiver going to the Bills here too, but man, Cody Ford with Josh Allen long-term makes sense to me. Maybe another surprise here. Number 8, the Giants go Drew Lock, quarterback, Missouri. Yeah, first quarterback off the board, Drew Lock. Dwayne Haskins right now probably would be my number 1. There's a lot more to go into that, to decide that still, but I do like Drew Lock. I've talked about I like his attitude. I like his game in the past, but the reason Drew Lock first over Haskins, I don't think Haskins fits Shurmur's offense. I think Drew Lock does. Shurmur's still, it's more of a West Coast offense, which is, you could consider a pro-style offense. It's somewhat old school now, I guess we can call it, because, these new offenses, the spread system, the RPO, which Drew Lock can run, but it just makes more sense in that Shurmur offense over Dwayne Haskins. So that's just my opinion. I think Lock fits more. I also think teams will like Lock more than other people do. Maybe the average viewer does. Arm strength, ability to move outside the pocket, all those things. Yeah, he really can sling the ball too, and we know how much scouts and teams like that. So I think he'll soar up the draft boards because of those reasons. I do like him though. I don't think it's overdrafted, even if Haskins is the number 1 quarterback over Lock. It still makes sense to me. More of a fit. Moving on, there's Haskins to the Jags. The Jags may have to switch things around a little bit, plugging in Haskins, but it's well worth it. I do think they'll go for a guy like Nick Foles in free agency. Hard to say if they'll get him yet. I believe a lot of teams will go after him. Maybe even the Eagles can keep him, but even if they do get him, you never know, because we've seen Foles, I don't want to say fail, but not really perform well elsewhere. So maybe it's just that Eagles system that works really well. So maybe you want to play it safe. And, Foles isn't the answer for long term. So you could still actually get Foles and a guy like Haskins. Haskins can learn from Foles. Makes sense to me. I don't really like getting young quarterbacks and sitting them, but I make an exception when it's a guy behind a guy would be like Nick Foles. Would make sense to me. Haskins behind Foles makes sense. So, but even maybe they're the favorites to get Foles right now. Maybe it's still a long shot because we're a while away. Anything can happen. So I like Haskins of the Jags. Talking about most improved from like halfway through the season till now, and that's what you love to see. And Haskins is definitely right there for that conversation. The Falcons get Ed Oliver, defense lineman from Houston, at 10. I think I mocked him at 4 to them last mock draft I did a few weeks ago. I like the fit there. They could lose Grady Jarrett. I'm hearing that he actually could go elsewhere. Even if they have him, they could use Ed Oliver still. They've been kind of looking out for that other interior D lineman with Grady Jarrett the last few years we saw. So I think he could drop to here because the other talent, like 2 quarterbacks going ahead, that's why it happened. And Oliver, didn't really perform all that well this year. I mean, he did, but not to where his expectations were, and there was some issues with the coaching staff. So that could actually make him drop a little bit, but he's a phenomenal talent. He's been compared to Aaron Donald in the past, and, he's not going to be Aaron Donald, but I see why. He could be a very good Pro Bowl player. 11, Panthers get Zach Allen, defensive end, Boston College, another guy I got the chance to watch a little more recently. Reminds me of J.J. Watt a little bit, and he can, J.J. Watt plays in the end spot in a 3-4, which we would believe he can play at a 4-3 too. I think Zach Allen's similar. I think he's going to be a little better on the 4-3 end, which the Panthers would play. I like the fit here. It's definitely what they need. Very strong defensive end, fun to watch. So that's definitely Panthers' number 1 need, in my opinion, is pass rush too, and there's a fit. So I did go a little quarterback crazy here coming up. Number 12, Broncos take Daniel Jones, quarterback Duke. He put on a performance, which was yesterday actually against Temple. Looked excellent, absolutely excellent. Great pocket presence, was relaxed. Very accurate, and to find as quick as he was finding the open receiver was very, very fun to watch, very good to see, really. And the deep ball accuracy was great too, and was able to run around and got a rushing touchdown. So, and there was reports before that teams, scouts thought that Daniel Jones was actually the most pro-ready, maybe not number 1 quarterback in terms of potential, but pro-ready for today's NFL, and I think the Broncos would like a guy like that. Keenum really isn't I like Keenum, but I don't know if he's the answer long term. This team, I think, is pretty pathetic that they got to blame the coaching staff, which has to be on the way out, but that they only won the amount of games they won, because I think this team's it's pretty complete almost. I guess you get a quarterback with a future in there. I don't want to say it was a Super Bowl team or anything, but I thought it could have made the playoffs. But then another quarterback here. At 13, the Bengals take Will Grier, quarterback, West Virginia. First thinking, there's going to be teams that like Grier, but there's going to be most teams that are just scared of him. System guy. I think it's going to be similar to, you could compare him to Baker Mayfield a little bit, and I think it's a similar situation to that. Like there's teams that wouldn't, I don't think he's going to go 1, first off, but there's teams that wouldn't touch Baker Mayfield at 20 probably, but then the Browns like him at 1. I think there's going to be a team that really likes Grier. I think the Bengals, I think it's a fit with the Bengals. I think they could keep Dalton and Driscoll 1 maybe, but I like Grier fitting there. I can compare him to Baker a little bit in the Bengals seeing what Baker did. They could grab Grier for the future there. I think that makes sense. But there's going to be teams that wouldn't take him in the first round, and there's going to be teams that will take him as high as top 10 possibly. The Packers go N'Keal Harry, wide receiver, Arizona State. One of my favorite players in the draft. Guy's a freak. Pretty much can do it all. You don't see a receiver like this. He should go top 10, but I had him sliding out. And the Packers need a receiver. Needs some probably defense to help a little more. But too good to pass here. I think him with Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback would be scary. So made sense there. Dolphins go Dexter Lawrence, defensive lineman Clemson. Dolphins could use a quarterback. Could be moving on from Tannehill. I'd imagine they make a run at Teddy Bridgewater or Nick Foles. Maybe they keep Tannehill. But they could be looking at quarterback is my point. But quite a few off the board at this point. So who would be next? Would it be Finley? Too early. So maybe not their biggest need here, but Dexter Lawrence is very good, elite stopping the run, and could apply pressure to the quarterback as well. 16, same situation, depending on Alex Smith. They could use a quarterback, but a lot are gone here. They will look to possibly Nick Foles, Joe Flacco, Ryan Tannehill if he's released, I think. I think Tannehill with the Redskins actually makes sense now that I'm talking about it, but maybe Alex Smith's back. That would be option A probably, but, maybe unlikely. Just released DJ Swearinger. Even before that, they traded for HaHa Clinton-Dix and not like his play whatsoever. Doesn't mean I'm doubting his future, but my point is they knew they needed safety. They know they need more. They need a better one. So Deontay Thompson, best safety in this draft from Alabama at 16 makes a lot of sense to me. Like what they did upgrading that run-stopping defense last year, the interior D-line. I like what they did. So trust that draft process for the Redskins. 17, Browns go Rashawn Gary, maybe too good to pass, a guy that can play interior D-line, outside. Didn't really reach expectations this year due to injury and stats even when he did play. But if you watch, actually got double and actually triple teamed at times. Very athletic guy in the D-line, can play anywhere. I think he fits what the Browns are looking for in there. So pair him with those guys they got currently. It makes a lot of sense, can help stop the run a little better, which they can do a little better. So Rashawn Gary makes sense. Eagles, Byron Murphy, corner, Washington. Some may view him as a top corner. Very smooth technique, opening up the hips, running with the receiver and his speed to combine with that. All looks good. There's gonna be teams that have him as their number one corner, and there's gonna be teams that have him as maybe number 2 or 3. So I think the Eagles will like him a lot. They like Sidney Jones, who still has a lot of potential. Still needs some work coming off the injury, but I like Sidney Jones a lot. But they definitely need help in the secondary. So Byron Murphy makes sense there. Steelers go Devin White. Yeah, too good to pass. Also could use another linebacker. Devin White has potential to be a top 10 pick. This is showing how good this draft class is. The defense draft class is. I do like parts of the offense too. The Titans go Marquise Brown, wide receiver, Oklahoma, cousin of Antonio Brown. Similar style play. He's not going to be Antonio Brown, but can play in the slot, play outside. Isn't going to really juke you out of your jock strap with his routes. There's some guys in the league that are just that do that. Look at guys like Adam Thielen and Antonio Brown. That's what they do. He's not really going to do that, but he's going to run good routes, and he can run any route is what I'm getting at. So Titans will like him, especially if they stick with Mariota, which I imagine they do. They'll like him. They'll like to pair those two together, and Corey Davis too. Corey Davis can maybe be more of a jump ball guy at times too. So it'll pair well. Vikings go Dalton Reisner, offensive lineman, Kansas State. They need offensive line. Could use a guard a little more. They do get Nick Easton back. And I don't know if there's a guard worth 21st overall pick. Kansas State's Dalton Reisner is very fun to watch. Pretty nasty in a good way blocker. Colts go DK Metcalf. I like this fit here. Wide receiver from Ole Miss. Some may have him as their number one wide receiver. I think it's pretty clear that's N'Keal Harry. The problem with Metcalf is he pretty much didn't run a lot of routes, but I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be I think he couldn't run more than pretty much just a streak or fly down the field, or a post, but it would be okay because you got T.Y. Hilton. I think they'll pair together well, and Andrew Luck can really sling it downfield to him. So I really like the fit there. Seahawks go DeAndre Baker, corner from Georgia. They could use some help multiple spots on defense, really, other than line. Well, they could use a linebacker too. KJ Wright's been hurt this year, and he's a free agent. But DeAndre Baker's very good. He's that lockdown corner, which the lockdown corners were the best the last few years in football, but in the NFL, I should say. But maybe not so much this year. Maybe it's more the athletic guys that can cover that out route that's in these new offenses. So maybe that's why the other two go ahead of Baker. But I like Baker a lot. Very fun to watch. Old school type corner. Can be a playmaker at times too. Can be a little grabby on the outside. They're covering receivers, so could get called a little more in the NFL. But definitely a first-round pick. Seahawks would love to have him. Ravens go Jeffrey Simmons, defense tackle, Mississippi State. Yeah, another defensive player. I don't know if they'll be able to help themselves here. They can upgrade the D lineman, keep it fresh, keep that whole defense fresh with this. Simmons he can play the nose. He can play a regular defense tackle position. Very fun to watch. Seen him get off double teams multiple times, so could potentially go higher in this. Ravens offense, I think they're one of those teams that really want like 100% fits, especially on their offense, Lamar Jackson. And I think with that, you'll be able to get guys. You won't have to take a receiver or a running back. Well, Gus Edwards looking pretty good, so they won't need a running back in the first round. But they could take a player like that later in the first round, so because they're very good fits. They may not fit other teams better, so they can afford to go with a guy like Jeffrey Simmons here with 24th overall pick. Moving on. Last 8. Raiders, I have them taking Cleveland Farrell in their first pick, I should say, and I have them taking A.J. Brown, wide receiver, Ole Miss here. Different than DK Metcalf, pretty much can, routes aren't great, but pretty much can run all over the field. Good routes, though. And run after the catch is very impressive. The Raiders would love to have a guy like that. The Texans go offensive line and Greg Little. Offensive line actually stepped it up for the Texans. I thought it would be the worst in football. Definitely wasn't the worst, so they gotten better, but could use a day one starter like Greg Little. I was actually thinking running back at one point for them here because, Lamar Miller is he the answer long term and has gotten injured and kind of maybe that cost them. They just played the Eagles and could have used him, but I was looking at different running backs like David Montgomery from Iowa State, Dexter Williams from Notre Dame I like a lot, very underrated. Damian Harris. So guys like that could actually be in play for this pick here. But I went with Greg Little. Raiders take Tavon Coney, linebacker Notre Dame. I like a fit here. I think I mocked him there before. Definitely can play day one for the Raiders. He does a whole lot, Coney, for that Notre Dame defense. He plays your traditional middle linebacker, but then he also can blitz, apply pressure. Doesn't get a lot of sacks, but applies pressure, makes the quarterback hurry. But what stood out to me the most is where he drops out and covers the running back on slip screens, which are used a lot in the NFL today. So Coney is a guy that's everywhere. Gotta like it. Chargers could use interior D-line. Getting Derek Brown, Auburn. There's some scouts that believe he's a top 10 pick, which is, wouldn't shock me, but it is a little surprising because the other D linemen, I guess the bigger name D linemen. So some of these D linemen get pushed back. Normally they would be guys that are top 10, but they get pushed back because the other ones, it's so stacked. Here's another one. Patriots take Christian Wilkins from Clemson. Definitely need a guy in there. You need to keep an eye on Trey Flowers, too. Their best pass rusher. They need to get him back. So this could potentially be a pass rush guy, but I would imagine they try to get him back. Rams go with Polite, edge rusher from Florida. His tape's very exciting too. He needs a little work in the run game, so that's why he still can go first round, but drops down a little bit because it's mainly a passing league. But he has some excellent pass rush moves, inside, outside, everything. So, guy to look out for to rise up. Chiefs go Mac Wilson. Could use a corner, maybe even a safety, pretty badly. I don't know if there's one. I guess there's a few that could go here, but you don't want to overdraft somebody even if it's a little bit, and you don't want to miss out on a guy like Mac Wilson. There's just too many open seams. Once a team runs the ball past the D line, they're all line and their D line and the opposing team's D line. So, and that could be due to the linebacker play on the inside. They have solid outside guys with Justin Houston, and D Ford's been excellent. So pair a guy with Wilson in there with Dorian O'Daniel. Dorian O'Daniel's going to get better for the future. So I like that there. And the Packers take Montez Sweat, edge rush from Mississippi State. Freak guy, does need some work in some areas. He's a blockable guy, so that's why he does drop. You like his freak athleticism, and that's what we're looking for in the NFL today. So some people may say top 20, top 15 pick, but he's blockable. When linemen really get him on the outside, he really can't. To me, it's hard for him to get to the quarterback at that point, which, NFL offensive linemen are very good at doing. But, with the right coaching, this guy could fix that, and he can be insane. So that's the good thing. Freak athlete, good twitch, good first jump off the ball. The Packers, I had the Packers getting N'Keal Harry and Montez Sweat. That would be a heck of a haul there. Same with the Raiders. What was it? Cleveland Farrell, A.J. Brown, Tavon Coney. Yeah. Some guys, another edge rusher, Brian Burns, could sneak in here. Tight ends. They didn't have any tight ends going. I would imagine Noah Fant is the first guy off the board. I like him. He can very well be a first rounder, but I think the tight end class, you can compare to the past few running back classes. There's so many good ones that teams kind of just wait, and we can just choose from these group of guys. We'll get one. I think the same thing with the tight end class. I think some guys are similar. Teams will wait because of that. Receiver unit I like a lot. Calvin Harmon, couldn't believe I didn't have him going. Just kind of slipped down a little bit. Teams do wait for those receivers too, but Calvin Harmon from NC State's ridiculous. A guy to keep an eye on and would have been in here if I thought he was declaring is Tyler Johnson from Minnesota. Just put on a clinic in the bowl game, broke Minnesota records. I believe he's going back. Apparently, he hinted that he was going back for his senior season, but I think he's a first-round talent. He's good length and good release off the ball. That's the best part. And, he can catch the ball, go up and catch the ball, contested catches. So, Tyler Johnson, definitely a guy to look out for. I like him a lot. And then Finley, NC State quarterback, could sneak in. I think he'd be a guy that the Patriots like, but at 29, with a guy like Christian Wilkins there, I don't know. And I mentioned the running backs, David Montgomery, very fun to watch for Iowa State. Dexter Williams from Notre Dame, I think is very underrated. Really could do it all. I think he can fit the Chiefs. I like the fit of Dexter Williams to the Chiefs, but re-sign Damian Williams. They could definitely use another guy, though. For sure, they will get another guy. But to remember, they drafted Kareem Hunt in the mid-rounds, so They'll wait. They will wait. But that's going to do it for the mock draft. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know your thoughts, any questions on players I didn't talk about. I'm sure there's plenty that could potentially be first rounders. And stay tuned for that live stream tonight. A lot of fun stuff on there. Talking NFL matchups week 17, talking playoffs, predicting the seedings, Super Bowl favorites, all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, we used to do brackets. We're bringing that back. It's usually non-football related. It's just some funny stuff here with multiple Frogs Angels members. Please check out our Twitter, link in the description, Frogs_Angels. Lots of good stuff on there. Subscriber goal, it's 10K. We're almost getting there. You guys are great. We just got the 9K. We were really asking for that just over the last few days in videos, and we made sure you got us there, so we appreciate that. Much appreciated. Click the like button on any of the videos as well. That'll do it for this one. Turn on those notifications. Check out the live stream tonight at 6 Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's going to do it, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.